Hey everybody, this is Patty Sliney, Handy Quilter National Educator, and we had a really interesting question come up on the Pro Stitcher Quilters Facebook group today, and I thought it would make a really good little tutorial. The poster had asked how she could take these designs, and she has several wave designs and several star designs, and she wanted to connect them alternating in a diagonal line that she has kind of an unusual space in her quilt top for. And she wanted to know how to connect them, how to stitch them out in correct order from bottom left all the way up to top right. And so I answered her, but I thought it would be really helpful to do a little video on what this is going to look like, how it's going to stitch out, how to rename the design segments so you can easily reorder them so they stitch out in order from bottom left corner all the way up to the top right corner so they're not skipping around with long jumps. So first off, none of the designs that were being used are continuous line designs. Now, the undulating wave was a continuous line design, but she had rotated it. So that automatically is going to prevent this design from connecting because even though we have a start point on the left and a stop point on the right, they are now no longer on the same horizontal plane. As you can see, if I use my crosshairs, my diagonal crosshair, as a guide, the start point is on the crosshair, but stop point isn't anywhere near it. So they're just not going to connect. They won't seamlessly snap together and become one continuous design from start to finish. You're going to have jumps between them. She was okay with that, not a problem. But she wanted to try to get them in correct order. And this is how she had them kind of ordered. So I'm going to show you. She had an undulating line here, and then she had, I'm just going to really pick them all out of order here on purpose because hers were all out of order. And then she had an undulating line here that connected like to the top of the star, and then another star design, and that connected to the side of the design, kind of like that. Let's refresh. And then she had pick this undulating line. This was connected or lined up, I should say, not really connected because they're not, to the top of that star. And then the last undulating line, let's see, whoop, there's a star. Here's a star here, and this attached here. And then let me zoom out a little more. And then the last undulating line, she had, I think, one more repeat of all of these, but just for simplicity's sake and time. This is what she had, and I'm going to select none just so you can see everything deselected. So this was what she wanted to stitch out. But none of these, as you can see, are in correct order. They're not. The first design that would stitch out would be this one. Then the next design that would stitch out would be this star, then that star. You can see they're not going to stitch out in order from bottom left to top right. Okay, but she had them all lined up how she wanted them. Now she wants to be able to start stitching here, stitch this design element first. You're going to have a little jump because start point of the star point's up here. She was okay with that. Stitch the star out, then stitch the undulating line, stitch the star out all the way up like this. So here's how to do it. First off, we need to rename each of these segments in some kind of easy to identify order by using a number. So we know this is undulating wave 1, undulating wave 2, undulating wave 3, undulating wave 4, star shape 1, star shape 2, star shape 3. So here's how you do that. We have a rename function down here. So if I select a design, rename becomes active, and now I can start renaming them with correct order names. So this should be undulating wave 1. And I know this is selected and this is the corresponding design, and this is in our workspace tab of the right sidebar. So now I can click rename, and I'm just going to add a 1 behind it and press enter. Then I'm going to touch the star in my workspace and rename as active. This one is selected, so I'm going to call this star shape 1. And I'm going to go through and I am going to rename each of these in numerical order so I know how to order them in a second. So this is star 2. And then this will be undulating line 3. And this is star 3. Enter. And then the last undulating line 4. And we'll call it 4. Okay, so now if you look at my right sidebar, I know what should be in what order. So we would start with undulating line 1. That should be sitting up here in the top slot. So how do we reorder them? You can see that the ordering arrows are grayed out. In order to do that, we need to select them all and put them in a temporary group. They're going to be out of order. That's fine. Once I get them in a temporary group, I can reorder them. So I'm going to click the Select None button down here to deselect my undulating wave 4. So now nothing is selected. Now I'm going to select them all because I don't care what order they're in. I'm going to reorder them in the temporary group. So if I click Select All, this creates this wonderful group, and you can scroll. It will scroll for you. So now all I have to do is select them over here in the right sidebar and use my arrows. So I want undulating wave 1, which is right here. It turns orange over here, and I want that up in the first slot. Now I want star shape 1. So when I select it my right sidebar, it turns orange over here. I'm confirming, yep, that's the next one I want. It's going to go right under undulating wave 1. Now I want undulating 2. I want undulating 2. Yep, that's correct. That's going to go under star 1. And then I'm going to pick star shape 2. I'm confirming over here I've got the right design, and that's going to go under undulating 2, and it's already there, so I don't need to move it. So I've got 1, 1, 2, 2, and now I want undulating 3. Now I'm going to move that under star shape 2. Okay, and then star shape 3 is in the right order, and undulating waves is in the right order. Now I'm going to go back and double check, and I'm just going to touch each one of these and look over in my workspace and make sure I'm marching up this little stair step in correct order. So there's the first one, the second one, third one, fourth one, fifth, sixth, and the seventh design. They're all in perfect order, and you can see there's a little jump from the stop point of the first design to the start point of the next design. She was fine with that, not a problem. We're good to go, so we can baseline this. It gives us a permanent merged group with those jumps, and then we can do a file, save, selected, and then we'd want to save it to our D drive, which I don't have a flash drive plugged in. So there would be a D drive down here. I would select my D drive, which is my flash drive, and I would call it whatever I wanted to call it. Diagonal wave and star design. And then I would save it. I'm going to cancel because I don't have my flash drive in. The next thing I would do before I stitch this out is I would not want my machine to automatically jump. I would prefer that my machine pause at the stop point and allow me to pull up my bobbin thread and trim and then jump to the start point, start stitching, doing the tie off and all of that. So in order to do that, I would go to my settings tab and I would go to auto jump, and I would make sure that this is set to 0, as mine is. So that's how you put a design in correct order. If you have several different design elements you want to connect, they don't have to actually technically connect, they can just be in correct order. If you're okay with jumps, and how to rename them so you can easily reorder them to get them in the stitching order you want. So hope that helps, and hope that was fun, and give it a try. Open up your Pro Stitcher Premium or Lite in simulation mode on your laptop and give this a little practice. Happy quilting!